everyone, it's Michelle. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to day 4 of Dephemerember. I missed day 3. I was hosting a Christmas party yesterday. Time got away from me the last few days. I was trying to manage my videos. In fact, I edited the giraffe video, honest to God, till 3 in the morning. That's how crazy. I had no time. So yesterday I just didn't get it done, and it is what it is. So today I am doing number 4, which is recycled art in coin envelope and a turtle. I've taped down the prompts because I keep losing them in the middle of the project. So I figured they can't go anywhere if I tape them to the side, and it keeps the reflection of the light from coming up into the camera. So I want to use these vintage looking coin envelopes. Now, as far as recycled art, I had an idea about the best kind of recycled art that I really need to do something with. I have 2 sons, one of which is turning 21 next week, and the other one who is 24. And I kept every art project they ever made. And the problem is, then what do you do with all of that? So I was thinking, how about recycling some of your kids' art? Not everything is a piece that should be held on to. And I have like portfolios of their art from when they were in school, and I pulled some out. These are pieces that, I love you, my boys, but they're nothing special, right? They were projects that they did in the classroom. This was for a, look at Rocky Mountain. I don't know even what this is. Something to do about probably geography. And there's a leaf with sponge painting. He was probably in 1st grade. But look at that. Isn't that awesome? Like for collage fodder? And really, I don't think my son cares if I use stuff like this. In fact, he doesn't even know it exists, and he would probably yell at me for still having this. I have like coffee filters that they tie-dyed and probably some little thing. This is my youngest son, made this Halloween picture, and there's ghosts. It's cute. However, what am I really going to do with it? So I photographed it, scanned it, so that, you know, I am going to make a photo book of all their old art, because I think that's the best way to hold on to it, is scan your kids' art and then just put it in print it off in a photo book. You don't need the originals unless there's something really special. And as much as I, you know, love my son, I don't know that this is super special. And I'm not sure how he got this technique. It looks like some kind of watercolor, or it could have even been, yeah, it's definitely like watercolor. But there's some awesome like texture there. Here's some pastel from some project. There's just a lot in these old folders of my kids' art. And I thought, this is what I want to use. And it makes it kind of fun that I'm putting something my son made. So then I started thinking of all of these, as much as I love this, and I am really much more of like a woodland tortoise person, I was so gravitated to this like purple and blue, and it reminded me of water and the movement in the water. So I decided what I would do is do something about sea turtles. It's a turtle, and there was no designation about what kind of turtle we can use. So I went online and I found a pool company that has decorative pools, and you can order decorative tiles for your pools. And this was one of the tile patterns you could choose. So I just printed it out, because this is just, you know, a fun journal I'm making for me. So I'm not going to be worrying about, I'm not selling it or doing anything like that. So it's just a tile from their catalog, and I am going to cut it out, and then I am going to use it in my project. Okay, so I just cut it out, and so now I need to find my journal and figure out what page I'm actually going to use. Let me pull this back just a hair. Okay. I need to figure this out because I need to figure out what the size of the artwork is going to be. Here's Gertie. Okay. sand. That's interesting, but I don't think that looks like sand. This kind of looks like sand, though. Is this, oh, this is the other side of this sheet that I had the hedgehog on. So that would be fine. So why don't I use this one? Okay, I just need to make sure that I don't do anything to hurt this. So how am I going to proceed? Well, I printed out this that kind of looks like sand, and I was thinking what I might do is put on some splatters to give it more sand-like look. So maybe I would add some of this to add some texture. And I definitely need to add, I think, some oxide inks so that I can get a little bit of an interesting, you know, grungy effect. I'll use my Distress Oxide crayons because I really don't have a lot of sprays. I have not invested in a lot of the oxide pads or sprays, and this was like, I think if you watched my other video, I just received these, or I just purchased these for my birthday with some birthday money that my mom gave me, and I think this will be the best way for me to add some additional colors to my sand. So I need to look and see which colors I like here. So I'm just going to show you the highlights, or in this case the lowlights, of a total fail. First of all, this is really cheap copy paper, which I should have thought about ahead of time. I'm making dots with 3 different colors of Distress crayons that I think I'm going to spray water on and have this magical thing happen, and nothing happens. Nothing happens except this cheap copy paper gets really wet and paper thin, and like it's going to fall apart, and it looks terrible. Okay, no problem. Grab the watercolors. These are my Arteza watercolors. They're not really an expensive set, but I get really good color from them. And I'm just going to start splattering the colors all over. This is what I should have done. I think I got great results the other night because it was better quality paper. Note to self, Tim Holtz crayons, not on crappy paper. So now I'm just going to cut out the half of the page that's decent with my watercolor splatters, and I'll use that for the base of my journal page. Luckily, there is enough there to work with, and in the end, my experiment was just that, an experiment, and I can move on. So you know I like to tell stories. In New England, we do not have sea turtles. However, in other parts of the country, we do. I think down in South Carolina they do. I'm not sure if they do in North Carolina. And I know they have these coalition of people who go out in the middle of the night and help the turtles get to the sea. They don't actually pick the turtles up, I don't believe. And because I'm not from the area, I'm probably not going to give all the exact details that are correct. But I know if the turtles come out of the eggs and hatch and they're in the wrong direction, it you know, that's not a good thing. And they come out at night, and they could be prey if they wander off and they don't go in the sea while it's dark. So a lot of times the volunteers will turn the turtles around if the sea is over here and they need the turtle to go over there. So I think I want to show movement, and I want to tell the story of a new baby little sea turtle who just hatched and is making his way to the ocean. And I like the idea of it being a baby sea turtle because the artwork I'm using is from my son when he was little, and it kind of evokes in me, you know, when my son was little and trying to right himself going in the right direction. And as parents, that's what we always do. We want our kids to go in the right direction. So I'm thinking, what if I took these 3 envelopes and I put them on a brad, and then used it as movement. You know, I actually only need 1, I suppose. I don't need all 3. I just need movement to put it in the right direction. So maybe that is what I'll do. And maybe be underneath the envelope, when I move the turtle in the right direction, maybe there'll be a sentiment here talking about moving in the right direction. Okay, I just concocted a plan. So let's see what I can do to get this plan going. First of all, I need this to match so that it looks like the sand. So let's get this piece, the reject piece, and cover this envelope with this reject piece of paper. And it's going to rip around the wet spot, and that's totally fine. I may even just do I don't know, maybe I'll just cover it in 2 pieces. And that's essentially what I do. I cover it in 2 pieces. I'm going to glue it down. And even though I am really so far from a perfectionist when it comes to this kind of playing around, the thought of having a seam down the middle makes me literally shudder, because it just doesn't blend. You know what I mean? So I'm going to glue it down, and then you're going to see me like rip little tiny pieces that I'm going to glue on top. That's going to kind of distract our eye, make it look intentional, add some texture. The turtle's going to cover most of this, so it's not like I need to really obsess about it, but by adding a few little ripped pieces, it'll add a little interest, some texture, and a little bit more cohesiveness. At least that's what my hope is. So we'll see if I succeed. I'm going to ink it, then I'm going to splatter it with my watercolors, try to make the envelope and the background sheet look very, very consistent. So when the envelope is on top, it blends right in. And now this is pure magic. Tim Holtz Foundry Wax. I have been using gilding wax and gold paint forever, but this is a whole different ball game. Like this stuff, when you put a heat gun on it, I wouldn't say it's as good as gold leafing, but it's a pretty strong metal. Like it's a pretty strong metallic look. And I just, this is just a tile, as you heard. It's just like a tile catalog piece that I cut out. I want to add some dimension with the gold, and I think I succeed. It's a little bit more special now. So cheesecloth, that's what I'm cutting now. Cheapest craft supply. You can go to a craft supply store and buy mixed media gauze. Even our most beloved Tim Holtz sells really up-priced stuff like this. But if you just go to a gourmet, like a kitchen shop or a grocery store, $2.99 for a whole package, so cheap. And it takes ink amazing. And that's what you're seeing me do. I'm just putting down some ink, spraying some water, and I'm just dyeing this cheesecloth because I want it to look like the flotsam and jetsam that you see on a beach. You don't walk down a beach and it's perfect. The waves are bringing up like twine and seaweed and remnants of all sorts of things. And I want to recreate that with the cheesecloth. It's so easy to dye and color and twist and glue, and they used it for centuries to help make cheese and squeeze out the liquid from the curd, but hey, I'm using it in mixed media, people.
This is what we use it for. And I did 2 different colors, like a light color and a dark color. And now I'm on my son's artwork. I'm trying to rip pieces that speak to me, that have a good blend. And this is going to be the surf. This is going to be the ocean. And I have to say how sentimental I feel doing this. Like, I never would have thought of using my son's artwork and my own crafting if it was not for this challenge. This is why challenges are important. They stretch you, they make you think, and they give you opportunities you never thought of. So I'm going to make the surf line with strips of paper, and you just saw me test out the turtle because I just want to make sure I'm going in the right direction. And I'm going to use the new color by Tim Holtz on the ink pad. I'm going to grab Salty Ocean from the Distress crayons, and then I'm going to use Uncharted Mariner. And the 2 colors I'm going to use as sort of, I don't even know what I'm going to say. I want it to bleed so it looks like surf. Because like the ocean doesn't just stop at a clear edge, right? When the waves come up, it's a very soft blending into the sand, the water and the surf, and I want to get that effect. So I use the pencil on the edge, and I use the ink on the edge, and I use water and a paintbrush, and I just try to have it bleed and blend and soften and give me the surf. That's what I'm trying to feel like, the surf. Unexpectedly, spraying water and adding water to my son's artwork makes his artwork bleed more, which gives a really cool effect, like really good grunge, really good, like that Distress Oxide. I don't know what he used 15 years ago, but it was good. And I have to just say, Barbara and Luise, what a real pleasure it was to do something where I'm using my son's artwork. And now I'm going to try to make the pivot point for the envelope. Now, I have to be honest, I was terrible in geometry. I don't understand angles, and I'm so naive. Look, I just punched a hole in the corner thinking that's going to be the right angle. Yeah, okay, not so much. I'm going to take the flap of the envelope and I'm going to push it inside and glue it, because I'm not really using this as an envelope, but more of a tuck spot. But it is a coin envelope, so it counts. And now I'm going to put it down. Look at my fingers. I see Barbara with her manicures, and she puts on gloves, and I'm like a tomboy forever. I swear to God, I just get messy about everything. I'm now realizing that angle is not right, so I start testing it, because this is the only way angles work for me. Just keep moving it until it makes sense. I want the envelope to be able to move and not come off the page, not hinder my book in any way. And I just keep trying it out until I get the perfect spot. And then I'm going to mark it with a pencil, and then I'll recut the hole with my favorite puncher. And okay, it's all right. I have a little hole. I'll figure it out. I put a pretty little brad in there, close it up, and now I have a place for my turtle. So remember when I made all the ink on my acrylic block? I just stuck it all over a piece of excess paper, and then I used that paper to type a quote about changing direction. And that's what I'm going to put underneath my envelope. Remember I said that at the beginning of the video I had a plan? See, it's all coming together. So I'm just making sure I know exactly where I want to put it, gluing it down. Then I'm going to take a little piece of cheesecloth, and I just want a little decoration on the top of it, make it look a little bit more finished. So I'm going to play around with that, cut it. I'm going to put a little bit of glue stick on it just to keep it in place, but my intention is to use my sewing machine to sew it on. And I also think I should put more stitches all over this piece to make it more interesting. I'm envisioning some blue thread and some sand colored thread And unlike my last video that I did in a half an hour, I'm probably going to spend a couple hours on this one. But I'm having a really good time, so that's okay. Some things are going to be quick and some things aren't. Okay, I'm back from my sewing machine, and I have 2 different color threads in this piece. Now, don't think I'm totally fancy, because I'm never fancy, but what I do is I keep a very neutral color thread in my bobbin, and I then change the top thread, the regular thread, so that the regular thread, whatever color I put, in this case blue, I put in first, and then I just turn the piece wrong side up, I guess, and then the bobbin thread will be on the top. So it's my cheat way of having 2 color threads in one project. I hope that makes sense. So now I'm just trimming the threads. Usually I like a lot of threads sticking out everywhere because I love to be messy, but I trim them, at least some of them. Now I'm going to put my turtle on the top of the card finally. I'm going to put the cheesecloth down with glue stick, but then I'm going to use Fabri-Tac to get the turtle down because I really want it to stick and I want it to stay in place. And just pushing it down everywhere. And I'm just having so much fun. This is so different than anything I usually make. I don't work with these colors. I'm not usually one to do something very literal, but I love challenges. I really do. If you guys like challenges, you might want to check out the Rustic 7 challenge, which was earlier this year. Elise Klatchman did it, and oh my God, I had so much fun with it. I did this crazy chicken tag, and that video's on there. That's a interesting one. Okay, so now I put the other cheesecloth in the corner. I'm just going to glue down that sentiment. And then I had some like blue starfish that I had in my digital files that I cut out because I just feel like now is the time to start adding some other elements. And I keep all my digital files. I'm pretty good about labeling them. And I've had digital files for probably about 12 years now. So I can almost find anything. So I had some starfish. Who knows why I had these mixed media starfish, but I did. And they were in the right colors, so I cut a couple of those out. And then I'm going to use a Tim Holtz stencil and do the number 4 because this is the 4th challenge. And I'm trying to include a number in my projects. And now, yeah, I like this starfish there when the turtle is in the up position, but when it's in the down position, it's just awkward. So I'm trying to figure out, is there a better way to put it? And then I decide, probably half of it sticking off the page would be good. So I like that. I like that when it's in the down position and the up position. So I guess that's how I'm going to use it. And remember the turtle tag Luise made for us? Not the turtle tag, but, well, I guess it's a turtle tag. It's the animal that she provided for us. I want to make sure that's included, and I want to have something to put in the tuck spot. So I'm just going to glue that to some cardstock or an old index card. And I'm going to let that dry, and I'll place my starfish. I'll cut it in half first, and then glue that to the edge. And that will just bring the eye where I need it to be. Again, everything I do is on gut. It's just what feels right to me. Is it right? I don't know. Is it wrong? I don't know. Does it matter? No. Because this is, again, just fun, playing, being creative, self-care, all of that. And I've decided to take out a little extra details. I have like a tin of little scraps I take out and stamps, and I find a blue and a brown stamp, and then I'm going to take some rubber stamps I have that have like postage, like cancellation marks, and I'm not using it full force. Like I stamp it on a scrap piece first a couple times. This is really light, really subtle, just additional details that I'm putting on the project because I want it to have some dimension and texture and all the words we say. But it's just, it's true. It's those little details that make things really make the difference between a page that's complete and not complete. And I'm just stamping, and I find the word fragile, and I think that's perfect. And I just want like lots of layers. Don't we all want lots of layers? I want lots of layers. I want to be multi-layered. So that's what I'm doing, adding layers to my project. And now the final bit. I have this gold paint. I don't know, it was really weird consistency. I was having a hard time with it, and I decide I'm going to splatter it, and it's really not splattering right. So I'm going to take it in the bathroom and do it. The bathroom's right outside of my workroom, and I have a splatter box in it in the tub. So I used it there, and I have to say I was really excited with how fine it's almost like these sparkles all in the water and the sand. I loved how it came out. This paint's really weird, but in this particular project it worked well. And I'm just using the butt end of a paintbrush to make some other dots. And now I'm going to trim out the turtle card the right size. I'm going to use a corner rounder just to finish it off. And that's just going to be a second kind of turtle for our turtle prompt. It's going to go in the tuck spot. And now I'm ready to put this down on the back of the page. I'm so excited. And I'm going to press it from the reverse side because I don't want to blend the gold paint because I don't know if it's 100% dry. I think it looks great. I'm so excited about it. I really am. I don't know why I love this page so much, but I really do. So that's it. I love the texture of the sea. I love the direction in the quote and the turtle and all the things.
Okay, I am back. Let's finally put this to bed here. Here's the crazy thing. Remember that I made this on the back of my, the page that was folded that ended up being, our number 1 prompt? Well, guess what? It has a moon on it. So I put a realistic moon on the back because the turtles are guided by the moon. And when it's not on that side, the moon, right? Right over here. And I just poked off that tag again. I'm going to have to fix that. Actually, I'll probably best off stapling it at this point because it's fallen off now so many times. Let me do that so I don't lose it. Oh, I like that metal. So I had my homemade moon. I put in a print off of like the actual moon, and it's on this page, but when we flip to the turtle page, it's like magic. The little turtle has just come out of his or her shell, and the moon is guiding him to the ocean, but he's facing the wrong way. So I'm just going to gently guide him towards the moon and his fate and his final destination. And if you can see, we have the quote, "In the waves of change, we find our direction." And I absolutely am in love with this page. I am in love with the fact that this was made by my son when he was probably 5, and he's turning 21. And I get to have this in my journal. I love the way that this is all grungy with the oxide ink, and this is like the spray, a little starfish and some stamps and some very subtle details. And the turtle tag is inside. And it can be, oops, I think I lost my little page here. Yep, I think this page was supposed to be right here. There. I think it makes a really cool page. I love how it came out, and I find that these challenges are really stretching me and definitely making me think outside of the box. And I'm really happy you joined me today. We didn't have a snack. I'll have one tomorrow. I just totally forgot. I was so into making this that I absolutely forgot to have a snack. So maybe I will reward myself with a snack right now. Thank you so much for joining me. I can't wait for us to be together again. Tomorrow is number or sentiment and a ticket. Ooh, I love both of those. So until tomorrow, I will see you later. Thanks so much for stopping by and watching my video. And as always, thank you to our beautiful hosts, Luise and Barbara. See you tomorrow. Bye.
This page is dedicated to my son Dylan, who's turning 21. I know he'll probably never watch this video, but this page means a lot to me. Thank you, Dylan, for collaborating without even knowing it on this page. And no matter what, I've always tried to steer you in the right direction. But I hope that your guiding moon always brings you to the right place. I love you.